most members of Black Country New Road attended prestigious music schools such as Guildhall or a formal musical experience. How do you guys think coming from these backgrounds has guided your approach to making music?
I mean, it's been fundamental in producing this music that you hear. Um, this music is a product of like 50% of the band going to music school and 50% of them essentially being home taught. And the music is like the middle ground of those two different camps. And it really helps even those that went to music school, like that we who didn't go, we forced them to speak about music in a different way, like reshape the language of it. And it's not like there's any hierarchy because they are music school students at all. We all just teach each other very different things.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the most important part, not like the importance of them going to music school or receiving a musical education. I think what's definitely always been more important is the social aspect of how kind of both parties come together, and sort of there's no like hierarchical establishment where the people that have gone to music school kind of take the lead because of it. It's just a conversation that we can have with our sort of two respective kind of expertise.
Definitely. So Black Country New Road also broke onto the scene through your 2019 debut single, Athens, France, on Speedy Wonderground. How did you guys end up meeting Dan Carey, and what led you guys to release your debut single through the label?
Well, at the time, we met him at the Windmill, probably. I think he was, is that correct, Charlie? He just came to see us quite a lot of times.
I think so. I mean, Speedy Wonderground are quite well known, like within our sort of little circle anyway. I mean, the first time that I came into contact with them was through when Black Midi released Boom 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 on Speedy Wonderground.
Well, I didn't really know much about them at that point, and I didn't really know who Dan Carey was at all until I met him lurking in the shadows of the Windmill. But that was the cool thing about him that I liked initially, was that he really was a dedicated listener and didn't just take us because it was a cool thing to do. He took it because he had really like taken the time to listen and understand our music, to the point where when we recorded that single with him, it was quite a bizarre experience. He would tell us to stop playing a few seconds in because the feeling wasn't right. And you have to have gone to loads of gigs in order to know that the vibe wasn't right. And also at the time there wasn't any other option. It was really cool that's one of the other truths of it. We had no interest from anyone for a really long time. So the fact that they reached out to us and said that they wanted to do these like day projects, because that's how it really is Speedy. You're only in there for a few hours. And the fact they wanted to do that with us was just like a big honor. And so we just took it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that like that's just it's such a valuable ethos, and I think that what they do at Speedy Wonderground in sort of picking up bands from the scene that kind of have no pretext to them and establishing them just through a single it's been totally invaluable to us. You know, it's a really, really fantastic thing to do. And yeah, Dan, Pierre, and Alexis are, you know, real trailblazers in that. I think we are slightly indebted to them.
It was a good first experience as well, because we had zero experience of recording at that point. So to have our first time be with someone that had dedicated time to understand our music made that process a bit easier, and called us out for things that we hadn't taught ourselves to call ourselves out on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But in the end, it wasn't something that suited the album, but it was an invaluable experience.
Yeah. And you guys were talking about Black Midi. How do you think coming up with other Speedy Wonderground acts like Black Midi and Squid influenced Black Country New Road sound? I know you guys did a collab show with Black Midi before. How do you think they've influenced you over the years?
I think that like both Squid and Black Midi are obviously I wouldn't say they're direct sort of musical influences. I think they are they're influences in so much as they are kind of friends. They're like sort of contemporary bands who are around in a sort of direct like geographical vicinity to us. Like we all have played at the Windmill before. We played with Black Midi before Black Country Road sort of even existed, really. And I remember being like so blown away when I first saw them. And yeah, I just
at first because they were just these little kids.
Yeah. I mean,
school, and I was like, fuck off.
Yeah, we were quite combative back in the. I think we went through a period of thinking that we were the best musicians. Kind of
he was so cocky and arrogant.
And so I suppose to that extent, like seeing bands like Squid and Black Midi who are so good, you know, like it was also just like, you know, it's fantastic to kind of see people like them and them also be sort of really friendly. We have the same booking agent as Black Midi as well, so just kind of through happenstance we have ended up playing a lot of shows with them. So particularly over the summer of 2019 when we were both kind of just doing a circuit of smaller festivals, we ended up spending a bit of time with them, which is super nice. Like, and you know, we all live in London as well, so yeah, just kind of hang out with them.
But more specifically for me, Cam, who's the bassist of Black Midi, is the person that I look up to the most as a bassist. His style is just like utterly ridiculous, and it's not. I know I will never be him. I don't want to be him, but he is the person that inspires me the most to just be better at what I do. And I think Morgan's probably the same for Charlie.
Yeah, I'd like to.
There's no point trying to like reach their level because they are just the gods of what they do, but it inspires you to like get better at your version of it, you know.
Yeah, I 100% echo that. It's completely true. They're just so impressive. Yeah, I mean, the first time I saw Morgan playing the drums was just like like completely off the chain. He is,
that was crazy, fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know whether have you ever seen him live or sort of seen videos of them? Because
never. Yeah, I've seen videos, never in person. You know, one day definitely want to see you guys and Black Midi live. But yeah, it
is just like it's so unbelievable. Just the way that he kind of like the fluidity that he plays is just so incomparable.
He's like seemingly playing on just random beats, but they're all hitting at exactly the same time and then having so much space in between each note, and there's just silence, and then there's blue, 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 and it's like they are just the machines. They're crazy dudes.
Yeah.
But one thing is to not compare yourself to people like this, to understand that you're from very different backgrounds in education, and just to know that you're different, and that's what makes it interesting.
We have completely different sort of musical goals, I think, as well. Like, I think, you know, if we were making music that was similar to Black Midis or similar to Squids, then I think, or trying to emulate, you know, the style of Black Midi or Squid, then I think we would, you know, get slightly more caught up in our kind of inadequacies. But we're not making music like, or at least that's not our goal, to make music anything close to those bands are trying to make music for, you know, the 6 other players that you're playing in the band with. And that's kind of, you know, as long as I'm the best drummer in Black Country Road, then that's fine. But I mean,
and I'm the best bassist.
Yeah.
God, but who's the best guitarist?
That's not a question for us to answer. Actually, probably you, Tyler. You're probably the most skilled guitarist.
No. Not Shredder.
Yeah.
You guys are just talking about the Windmill as well. You guys became known for your live performances early in your career at the Windmill. How did you guys get from the formation of Black Country New Road to performing at this legendary underground music venue?
Well, Black Country New Road sort of preceded, or rather the Windmill preceded Black Country New Road, and that we were performing at the Windmill before Black Country New Road kind of came about. I mean, it was always like, for me at least, like that sort of legendary venue, kind of even before we'd played it. I remember in the band that preceded Black Engineer Road, the first time that we had the opportunity to play at the Windmill, I think there must have been like 5 or 6 people in the audience or something like that. But it was like, I remember it just feeling like a really, really important kind of moment, just because so many people have come through the Windmill and it's got such a great reputation, and completely justified. It's, you know, it's like, it is one of the, if not the most valuable place for music, certainly for us, but I'm sure for a lot of other musicians who are kind of currently, you know, in the spotlight at the moment. So the atmosphere there is just unbelievable. And the, like, Tim Perry, the guy that books most of the shows, he is so open. Like, he just, the way in which he kind of curates everything in a way which, you know, you might think as being, you know, maybe slightly flippant, is sort of thought through. And it's like, not everyone has the opportunity to play at the Windmill, but everyone that does play at the Windmill, no matter kind of, you know, how many people turn up to see the show, you know, you'll definitely be watching something that's interesting and eclectic and worthwhile.
But also that then in turn has created this environment which is incredibly encouraging, because any kind of sound can pass through there. It's not a judgmental space at all, and which means that, you know, for a band like us at the beginning, it gave us the space to play around with our sound, gain confidence, and that's the main thing. It's a place to gain confidence, and it's for that reason been so fundamental in many bands and musicians' careers.
Definitely.
So what has it been like to blow up in the underground music scene at such a young age? I'm personally 21. I could not imagine coming up in the way you guys have.
I feel like I'm not, I feel like I'm old now. I'm actually think about this with, like, you know, Billie Eilish or someone like that, or just like people that are younger than us that are doing even bigger things. So there's always someone younger doing something bigger. I guess if I do think about it, I think, oh my God, got to keep this up for a really long time, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. But I know that in my heart I have to be in this band until the day I die. But it's not going to be easy. So already I'm thinking quite negatively about it, but I shouldn't be doing that. It's great. It's great. It's all great. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super, like, it's a great thing to kind of have had the attention that, you know, that we've been lucky enough to get so early in our career. Yeah, it's a bit weird though. Like, it's fun, you know, it's exciting. I think it's, you know, it's also like those, for us, there have been like, with most bands, there are kind of tangible markers of success, or like a recognition in the ways in which you judge your music, and sort of, you know, how much people are enjoying or how much you're getting from it. And normally, well, I mean, for us, it's always been playing live shows, and so having not been able to perform, whilst I suppose you could say that, you know, we've gotten more, you know, a little bit more attention than we had done when everything closed down. It's been weird to kind of to judge how things have changed, because we haven't played a live show basically since March of last year. So it's been it's been awesome, but it's been also slightly weird.
Also, to prevent a huge ego boost, or the other way around, in order to not be negatively affected by all of this, it's best to just not do much and not listen to it, and just live in the real life world, which is here, and just hang out with friends instead of getting caught up in it.
That's true. Yeah, my mum will send me a tweet from time to time, and that's about it. You've got a very Finnegan, you look, it's surprising that you're 21 years old. You've got a really like nice full face. Like you got like, I'm kind of envious of your facial hair. Like,
thank you. I appreciate it.
How long did it take you to kind of get that all together?
So I think when I was 18 or 19, I just decided to start growing a beard, and it just came in kind of it usually, I think it took like a month or so for me to
I
grow
think
it out.
that's the
Now I keep it a bit short, you know. Yeah.
Probably your
But
face. You're so envious.
I am like there's jealousy in his eyes, like we're the same age, and like I wished I had that full face of hair like you do. I've got to maybe that's it. Maybe patience is the real
no, yeah,
key.
patience is key, definitely.
All right, well, I'll keep that in mind.
So it's really interesting to me that Black Country New Road decided to sign with Ninja Tune, a label that's predominantly known for electronic and dance music, to release your debut album. What drew you to the label?
Um, they were really, really lovely people, and that might sound like a silly response, but the amount of people that we had meetings with that would like not engaging with us in a very human way at all, and didn't really seem very present, and it didn't seem personal. And Ninja were incredibly personal and approachable people that we just got along with really well. They were willing to be like it's the most flexible, I think, as well out of everyone else, because they were going into it with not a lot of experience of this side of music, and it felt like we were kind of both us and Ninja were coming into something fresh, and for that there was this feeling of excitement that we both shared together. And also logistically, because we don't have to compete with anyone else on their roster, we have a lot of freedom when it comes to release dates, and
Tyler is completely right. I completely agree with everything that I think that for me personally, like I really enjoy so many of the artists on Ninja Tune's roster. Like I really loved like Marie Davidson and like Floating Points, and they put out that album, like loads of that music, like Gianna Barwick as well. Like so much of their music isn't like so prescriptive that you would define it as like, as being like just like a dance label or like a jazz label, and that's what I really liked about it. I think that also like it's really good to be on a label with artists that you respect and you kind of enjoy, but I don't think that being sort of genre specific is necessarily the most important thing in a label anymore, because I think an independent label maybe used to align itself as being sort of genre specific as part of its identity, but now I think that people listen to all sorts of music and they're not limited necessarily to what they can afford to buy, on vinyl or on CD. And so like the identity of independent labels have, I think, completely changed in the streaming age. And for us, or for me, what I liked about Ninja Tune being interested in us was that it was showing that kind of diversity, and an independent label doesn't have to be genre specific. It can just reflect, modern eclectic music tastes, and it can reflect, anything that is interesting. It doesn't have to be genre specific. And I think that was awesome. I was really surprised that they were kind of so interested in us. It made me
kind of, to add to that, they weren't relying on their legacy to impress us.
Yeah.
And I feel like a few of the labels we were talking to around that time were heavily relying on that, and for that reason weren't really excited about our future. And or if they were, they certainly didn't express it like Ninja did. And yeah, Ninja was so in the present and just trying really hard to impress us and tell us all these exciting things that they were going to do for us, and they just really felt like they were with us,
which they also have done, by the way. They've really like followed through on all their promises, which I think for a young band, signing to a label is a really big and very scary thing, because I think the oldest bed bug that I'm sure like all young musicians get told to keep them up at night is never to sign with the label, because labels are something which is naturally exploitative or seems exploitative. But Ninja Tune offered us the fairest deal of of any of the ones that we're looking at, and all of the promises that they've made to us, they've followed through on, and it's been a really positive experience. So yeah.
So Black Country New Road sound has evolved and matured quite a bit since the release of your debut single, incorporating more lush instrumentation and sung vocals, in addition to toning down the profanity of your lyrical content. What have been the biggest factors in this evolution?
We get really bored really quickly. One thing specifically that becomes really boring, especially in the scene that we were playing within a lot, is the way you express angst or tension through just smashing your guitar or your drum. It just becomes so repetitive and boring, and honestly, you hear it so many times that it loses its impact. And also it loses its impact because it's a live thing, and over COVID and not being able to perform live, it's not enjoyable for us to just thrash our guitars and instruments in the room. We can't hear anything. It's not enjoyable at all. It just hurts our ears and we complain. So we've tried to find a way to express the same feeling, but through other tactics. And that's made the songwriting so much more thought through and interesting and individual.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add to that. I completely agree. That was a 10 out of 10.
You touched on it a little bit, but what do you think contributed to the shift in lyrical content?
I think that's neither Tyler or I would necessarily, I think, ever want to speak on Isaac's behalf, just because the lyrics are always, it's a separate kind of constituent part of the band. And honestly, Isaac's lyrical decisions are generally his own. I think that we have, we've suggested things when we like them, and we've suggested things when we think they would benefit from a change. And broadly speaking, though, they've been Isaac's decisions. So yeah, I think it would be tricky to say why he's done one thing or another, because it's not a decision that we've made.
Yeah,
I would say that actually, we've, just because we want to get played on Radio 1.
It'll be kid friendly.
Yeah, we did that one for the kids.
I've also noticed about your guys' artistic development, another thing has been the incorporation of more keys, piano, and synthesizer, which in my opinion has added another really elegant layer of instrumentation to your music. In your early singles and live performances, the keys weren't utilized very often, but that has since changed drastically. Was it a conscious decision for you guys to incorporate May Kershaw's keys and synthesizers more as you guys progress?
That's like, all of these kind of decisions are that individual's choice of how they play. I think with May, she's an incredibly talented classical pianist, but I think it was just time that it took her to understand playing on a synth and to get a feel for it and to understand the sounds that she liked, and it just took her time, but now she's really got a hold of it. But that's all down to her. Like, we never said don't play so much or now do play so much. It's totally her decision.
I would say though, the use of the piano, which we kind of incorporated relatively recently, particularly in the live stream that we did, and definitely on all, pretty much all the music that we're writing now, has been predominantly resource based, that decision, because we have the capacity to practice with a good piano. And we have, when we played at the South Bank, it was an exceptional circumstance where we could perform with a really lovely piano, and May wanted to, and it seems seemed kind of apt. And so, you know, we did. I think, you know, maybe, yeah, as Tyler said, May is an incredible pianist. And, you know, I think the band's sound is constantly changing, and it's kind of seemed like to her, you know, the right time to use some piano properly. And, you know, we could do it. And so, yeah, we have.
Nice. So what do you hope to accomplish over the next 5 years?
Right. Well, realistically, to play outside of Europe, that's the first thing to tick off the list. Really want to do another support tour. We haven't done one since we were quite young, but
yeah,
that was so fun. And we haven't done one as Black Country New Road, I don't think, have we?
No, we haven't. No.
That would be amazing. I don't know, who would you want to support, Charlie?
Who would I want to support? Yeah. It would be fun to support. We were saying that the Killers would be like the ideal band to support. If we could support.
I was going to say the Killers, but I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and they suggested that we don't go on tour with the Killers, and they didn't really say why. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, then scratch that. I guess not the Killers then. We could go on tour with Coldplay. I think if the second album really picks up, then if we could do a support tour with Coldplay, that would like.
I think Coldplay fans will like album 2.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And I know that Coldplay aren't going to be touring their album until there's like a environmentally viable way of doing so. But if we could go out to Jordan and maybe go and play with them, that'd be amazing. I don't know though. I think that it's difficult to say where you want to end up in 5 years. It's like that classic, like, you know, thing that you'd asked in an interview. But the band, I think, has always benefited from not really thinking too far in the future, because things are constantly in motion, and they constantly change. And
although I think in 5 years' time, we will have released, I'm going to say, 8 albums.
Yeah, that's a lot of albums, sure. Yeah. So I guess by that point, in 5 years' time, I hope that we'd released our worst album that we'd ever make. Out of the way.
Yeah, of course.
Our worst album out of the way. And then I suppose, yeah, not to have made our best album yet.
We'll probably be in our pirate phase then, perhaps.
Yes, yeah. We'll be doing shanties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might be incorporating more lute and sort of, or we will have done the lute stuff, and now I guess we'll be doing like pirate stuff. It's difficult to say, but yeah, we regularly visit a soothsayer, and it's from their sort of foretelling, it's all looking like pirates and knights, basically.
But they can't see beyond that, is the thing. So we don't know what's going to happen after that. So we might have hit pirates by like 3 years' time. Who knows what will be in this second 2? You know, we can't even think about this. It's totally out of our control.
Yeah.
But you might not even recognize us by that point.
Yeah, because we'll look like pirates.
I'm looking forward to the Black Country New Road pirate era.
Yeah. So wait.
I can't wait. Isaac's gonna cut his leg off. Yeah.
Peg leg wood.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for answering these questions.
That's all right.
Can't wait to see where you guys go next.
Yeah, I mean,
whether it's the pirate era or touring with Coldplay.
Yeah, hopefully both.
They don't clash.